All right, let's jump right in. We're about to go on a bit of a journey here, into a really profound idea that kind of challenges the whole concept of you. It offers a roadmap to a completely different way of living, not as some struggle you have to win, but as a state of being you can actually discover.
So the text we're looking at kicks off with this really powerful metaphor. Life is a play. We're all actors on a stage playing our parts. The successful professional, the struggling artist, the devoted parent, and we get so lost in these roles, don't we?
And that right there is the crucial question. If life is a play, then who the heck wrote the script? Because most of the time, it feels like we're just reading lines that were handed to us, stuck in this drama of ups and downs, wins and losses. And according to this way of thinking, that feeling of being trapped in a script you didn't write, that's the real source of all our suffering.
So, our first act on this journey is to just acknowledge that feeling, that we're all caught up in a play that we didn't exactly sign up for. It's this endless drama of wanting something, fearing you'll lose it, or not getting it, and then feeling totally empty.
The source text calls this the vast sea of suffering. And that's a perfect description, isn't it? We feel like we're just being tossed around by these waves of temporary happiness and, the inevitable disappointment. But what if the problem isn't the sea itself? What if the problem is the little boat we think we're in? And this is where things get really interesting. The text suggests that the problem isn't the world out there, but our own internal idea of a solid, permanent self, that I that we're so convinced is the one who's suffering.
This brings us to the central and pretty radical idea. The 5 skandhas are empty. Now, in simple terms, this basically means that the self we cling to so desperately, well, it's an illusion. It's not one solid thing, but just a temporary mashup of different parts.
So what are these skandhas? Okay, think of them like 5 bundles or aggregates that all come together to create the experience we call me. But just like a car is made of a bunch of parts, those parts aren't the car itself, right? Let's break them down.
Okay, first up you've got form. That's your physical body, everything from your hair to your toes. Then comes sensation. That's the raw data coming in, the feeling of the sun on your skin or the sharp sting of cold wind. Third, there's perception. This is your mind slapping labels on those sensations. This feels good. That's bad. I don't care about that. Fourth, we have mental formations. These are all your habits, your biases, your knee-jerk reactions, like that flash of anger you get in traffic. And finally, number 5 is consciousness, just that basic awareness that's experiencing all this stuff. The key takeaway here, the whole point, is that all 5 of these things are constantly changing. They are not a fixed, permanent you.
Okay, so if the self we're clinging to is just a temporary collection of constantly shifting parts, what happens when we truly see that? Well, that's when we arrive at our destination, what this text calls the zero state.
Now, the zero state isn't about becoming nothing. It's kind of the opposite. It's about becoming everything. The text describes it as a state of ultimate bliss, totally free from attachment and fear. And it makes sense, right? When there's no fixed I that you have to protect all the time, there's nothing left to be afraid of. There's just infinite potential.
And this chart really makes the difference pop. Our ordinary, everyday mind sees attachment and owning things as the goal, which, let's be honest, always leads to worry. But in the zero state, the goal is actually letting go. There's no attachment because there's no fixed I to get things for. It's this massive shift from a mind that's always grasping to a mind that's just wide open.
So the big question is, how do we get there? Well, the path isn't about achieving some new, shiny thing. It's really about seeing the nature of things as they already are, totally impermanent. The text uses this absolutely beautiful line, "Glory and wealth are all floating clouds." I mean, think about it. The things we spend our entire lives chasing, money, status, fame, they're as temporary and as impossible to hold on to as a cloud passing in the sky.
And this idea just keeps expanding. It applies to the whole rhythm of the universe. Tides rise and fall. Flowers bloom and then they wither. Everything is in a constant state of flow. To try and fight this, well, it's like trying to fight reality itself.
The text even takes it to the absolute ultimate level. Birth and death, nothing new. From this huge, cosmic point of view, even our own lives and deaths are just part of this natural, impersonal, and endlessly repeating cycle.
And all of this leads us to the final and maybe the most mind-bending realization of the entire journey. We tend to think that liberation or enlightenment is some faraway place we have to struggle and fight to reach. But what if it's not? This shore
is that sure? Just let that sink in for a second. This simple line flips the whole journey on its head. It means the place of suffering and a place of liberation, they're the same place. The only thing that changes is your perspective. Freedom isn't about getting somewhere else, it's about seeing where you already are, but differently.
And this is only possible because, at the end of the day, things like adversity and good fortune are really just products of our own mind. The external event itself doesn't have any built-in meaning. It's our consciousness that labels it, that creates the story of suffering or joy. So if you can change your mind, you can change your entire experience of reality.
So that leaves us with this final thought to chew on. What if we stop trying to cross that vast sea of suffering to reach some distant, happy shore? What if freedom isn't a place you finally arrive at, but simply the direction you choose to look, right here, right now?